Good evening, everyone. It is 7:34, Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. We now call to order the historic town of Eatonville regular council meeting. Would you please verify?
Yes. Councilman Matt?
Here.
Councilwoman Gordon?
Here.
Councilwoman Randolph? Vice Mayor Washington?
Present.
Mayor Gardner?
Here. As we enter into this moment of silence, let us remember Jesse Jackson, our civil rights activist and politician, as well as the organizer of PUSH. We offer prayers for his family. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. We're now ready for the approval of the agenda. When you came in, there were some documents at your seat, one of those being the minutes from February 3rd that are referenced on your agenda. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right, the agenda has been approved. Citizen participation.
First, we have Miss Michelle Ford and Sonia Thomas yielded her time to her, so they can.
Okay, question. I do get another opportunity to speak during the public hearing about the land development.
Yes. So you don't have to
input on this one. Okay. So my first concern is the approval of the resolution naming the CRA sub-recipient for the HUD grant. Okay. Now, I deal with grants. So in the beginning, when the grant was applied, you would have put whoever the sub-recipient was. What was their project? How was it being procured? From my understanding, the CRA doesn't have any procurement policies because it goes under the town. Now I'm starting to have a lot of concerns because I'm starting to see Mr. Johnson name on everything coming down. I'm starting to think he's running for mayor. I could be wrong. I pray that I'm not. But there's a problem here. You're talking about federal funding that has already been set up. There was a project that was already specified. So now we're going to turn and do something else. That should send a red flag right now to this council, along with all the other items. Now, he put in there saying the council can do it. No. There's a process through that because that's still got to be submitted back to HUD. And what if they say no? Because there is no project that has over there. My other concern about that too, that we need to really look at is this. Who we have as a president, anything DEI related will be snatched back. The new grants that are being written, there's some language in there that at a point he could snatch it back. So this town should not depend on any grants right now. We should be operating like we don't have grants. Because to rely on them heavily is going to set ourselves up for failure. You know what the CRA budget is already have, you know what we can do. So I suggest that we really look at that and possibly table that, get some real clarification on what exactly, and I'm not going to say the CRA board, exactly what Mr. Johnson plan of action is for that. My other concern is what we talked about in the workshop, the tourism master plan. So he brought up all these other cities, right? So I'm going to look it up. City of Winter Park does not have a tourism master plan. What they have is a comprehensive plan, which is exactly what the town has. Mount Dora does not have a comprehensive plan. On top of that, Mr. Johnson said that this is just a policy. But when you look at the resolution, it says a master plan, comprehensive data-driven framework to guide tourism development, capital investment, destination marketing, governance, and accountability. Where the policy at in that? See, when somebody talk more than what you can read, then that lets you know right there, they're trying to sell you something that's not written. We need to read everything that's coming out of CRA. On top of that, I went to the CRA meeting that night when this was brought up. The CRA board residents did not approve it. But Councilman, Vice Mayor, Washington, you had him do it, but the board did not approve that, and that should not have come forward. See, now we're doing things out of order. And I'm just gonna say this personally, Vice Mayor, I don't know if Mr. Johnson's running or you running, but somebody need to do what's right, because Mr. Johnson and all his hands and everything is scary. And especially because Dr. Phillips is coming in. So yes, I definitely want to be in control of everything. Yes, I want to be involved in tourism because we know they're building a museum. We need to start thinking about the individuals we know that are trying to take from the community and the ones you're supposed to be protecting. Because what we have right now, we have an opportunity for Eatonville to actually thrive, where residents can actually work for their town. But when you have individuals that are in positions that are making decisions based on their knowledge, I love what the director he provided. CAO said, listen, let's get with the camping work. These people know what they're doing. But then we say that you need a policy. That doesn't make sense. When you go to the TDT website to put in an application, it says nothing about a policy. So is the website lying? Or maybe my glasses are not clean. But something is not right here. When you're presenting stuff as if it is facts and it's not. So I recommend that we follow what the CAO said. Let's sit down. 90 days, look at the plan, go visit these individuals because everyone does not have a tourism master plan. But if you have an objective behind it, then yes, you're going to do a master plan so you can do what you want. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Miss Joyce Arby.
My question is, Eatonville or Cheatonville? Who you with? Eatonville or Cheatonville? There's a fine line. We keep going across that line. Michelle, you trying to tell them about somebody they know very much about. Let me just say, the reason that I chose this to represent the CRE director is because you treat his words like they are the word of God and everything's got to be true. When he comes to you and presents unvetted information that it's not true, you accept it, you thank him for it. And Cliff has to say, Cliff, you missed something.
Yeah.
You said earlier, it's only half true. You said that, right? He said, Cliff's telling you, it's only half true. And you guys still take what he says and put him in charge of whatever. He might be brilliant. I'm not the smartest, person in the room. But I have honor and integrity. And what I know is if he's gonna keep shaking people down, like he shook David down for 70 grand at that club over there, tried to shake Manny down, is skimming off of grants, and is always talking about money. Yes, you all know better. And if you vote to do anything to put him in charge of any money, you are guilty of misfeasance, malfeasance, I don't know how many whatever feasances are, all the feasance. You know better. You know who you're dealing with. And don't be puppets. I got puppets in his bag every morning. And they're going to be visiting from time to time. Don't be puppets. Don't be puppets. Do what's right for the people. So you don't have to escort us out. Now there's two of us you're going to have to. Thank you, Lucy. There's two of us you're going to have to sit out. That's it. I'm done.
It's me question.
Thank you.
So we have Brian Hill.
That's acceptable. I have notes and they said most of everything. And I can't even follow that one because they took all the words out. All right, so my notes were pretty much the same. The resolution's asking for you guys to designate $2 million for one grant and a second whose amount is not even disclosed anywhere in the packet that I read through. So an unknown amount for two separate grants to the CRA, where there's a complete absence of an agreement between the town and the CRA for these grants. HUD and the town have governing agreements, but now you guys want to hand over $2 million to the CRA without anything government, how that needs to be spent. So that's, very, very quickly, the grant as I read it was for, at least one of the 2 million was for 308 East Kennedy. Did you guys come up with a purchase price for that? You guys know what you're doing with it? Because right now the grant is for that parcel of land. That's what it says. Just want to hand it over to the CRA to do what with. I don't really say. You guys are going to decide on it. That's about it. They eloquently from the heart said anything that I could say better.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Candace Finley.
Good evening, everyone, residents. So, I'm just here to make an announcement for an event that I'll be having partnership with the Life Cycle Club. It's the Routes to Roots Historic Bike and Walking Tour that'll be going on this Saturday at St. Lawrence AME Church. The 7 a.m. starts the bike ride. The walk starts at 10 a.m. First 100 registered will receive a goodie bag full of snacks. We have a sorrel juice that was donated to us, as well as a collector item kit. So just coming out, spreading the word, making sure that everybody in the town knows that community residents are free. And please come out and support. If you don't know the history, if you do know the history, come out. It's a great time not only to take charge of your health, but as well as embrace what we have now and what we're looking forward to. I also have a spring break camp that I'm offering to the community for free. We're now back in Eatonville, so I'm happy to say that as an Eatonville nonprofit. We'll be at the library March 16th through the 20th. It's called the Esteemed Culture Experience. This is just an experience for our youth. May not have the opportunity to travel across the world, but we're bringing different parts of the world to them, connecting STEAM principles to it, taking them on trips, having tastings from these different places, as well as a field trip that will be provided as well. So it's free. You can go on the website, www.esteemlearninginc.org to sign up. And spaces are limited. I can only accept about 40 kids within the library. So thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Next, we have Angela Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. Yeah, a lot has already been said. However, it would be remiss of me if I did not make my comments as well. It is regarding the agreement to make the CRA sub-recipient of those grants. First, the council doesn't have the full $4.1 million grant award in your packet unless it was provided to you, because it was not in the packet that's on the website. So I would ask you, how do you consider voting on something if you didn't have the documents, again, unless you requested them separately? I also wanted to state that the project narrative, as it was mentioned, I think it's on page 42 of the packet that you have, references affordable housing with a land trust. And that's with that specific property of the 308, whatever that address was. So again, are you changing? Have you submitted a request to change the project? I think that what it appears to me is that it just raises the legitimacy and the governance, compliance, and fiduciary oversight issues. We are looking at transferring money to the CRA in the absence of any type of interlocal agreement or agreement between the CRA and the town. And it appears to me that we're looking for a way to fund the construction of those homes on West Street. So obviously you guys sit in a dual role. You're sitting here as council members, but you also sit as board members on the CRA. I would appeal to you to do your research on what is the status of the line of credit from Seacoast Bank. Are we looking to use these funds to build those homes? And if so, why aren't we clearly stating that? What is the purpose of the usage of these funds? So what I would say to you is, it's not something that needs to be tabled. It's something that needs to be denied. You have until 2031 to expend the funds, at least the packet that, the $2 million that was outlined in in your packet. So again, my suggestion to you would be not to table, but to actually deny this, unless you have some specific projects outlined as to how and when, projects and timelines of how those funds are gonna be spent. There's always this concern about, unfortunately, some past behaviors of the executive director of the CRA, which brings into focus when people are making decisions and comments. So I won't stand here and say that any of us are free of sin. None of us are free of having done some wrongdoings, but when we continue to see those wrongdoings, we need to consider the things that are happening and how much authority, as some other members have said, that we want to give one individual. Thank you.
That was our last citizen.
All right, thank you, everyone. We're now ready for our public hearing item, approval of first reading of ordinance 2026-1, amending subpart B. We can read the preamble and then we'll open it for discussion.
Ordinance 2026-1. Ordinance of the town of Eatonville, Florida, amending the code of ordinances of the town of Eatonville, Florida by amending subpart B, quote, land development code. Development code and quote, chapter 64, zoning, 3, zoning district regulations, chapter 65, use regulation, section 65-1 to permit duplexes R2 single-family residential zoning districts, providing for legislative findings, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for ability, providing for effect.
Right, you've heard the preamble. This item is now up for public discussion. So if anyone would like to speak, please go to the.
All right, so at the last meeting that this was discussed, it was stated that the ordinance was not passed due to a lack of votes. It also was shared that in order for it to be placed back on the agenda, new evidence would need to be presented. So my first question is, was there new evidence presented? Has our wonderful planner, did she have an opportunity to review anything, to even bring it forward? My other question and very concerned is, has the town established the impact fees for the water and sewer? I already talked to the TAO and that's in the process, right? Well, by trying to move this forward, then that means the town is losing money again. So why should we be able to allow this to go through knowing that we don't have the impact fees set right now? So in my opinion, we need to do a moratorium on building right now. Right now, what we need to do is focus on what is necessary. Given impact fees bring general revenue in a lot of cities. That's what they count on. But we're gonna give it away because somebody want to build some right now. It just doesn't make sense. Because the impact fees help us in the future. And let me tell you something. He was the mayor. I think he will be okay with it. knowing that how the government works and how it will be in the best interest of the residents. Because right now you have residents that are upset about the rise in water costs, the garbage fees, and all of that. The new development should pay as well too. Unless you wanna let my mom know that you want him to build this and then she pay for the increased water fee, she does not like that. And I think a lot of residents don't like that. So what I think we need to do is table that until we get all impact fees that are necessary, whatever Mr. Cliff says that needs to be done, and let's stop this. Because we have new constructions that's gonna be coming forth with this hunger for property. So are we still gonna lose money? It's been what, 20, 30 years? I mean, y'all just passed impact fees 2023. So before 2023, the town of Eatonville was losing money for every development. So now we're gonna let him build someplace and we still lose money? I don't know what council person can go to each house and tell someone, yeah, I let that go through, but we'll take care of the impact fees. That's not fair. That's not what a public servant does. You serve the public. What's in the best interest of not one individual making money, but for the residents. So I am totally against this. We need to first focus on business. Business is generating revenue. Impact fees do that. So do not vote for this. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the community. I too am speaking out against this ordinance. I want to be clear though, my concern isn't with housing, my concern is who this actually serves. Who stands to gain and who this aligns with and what this town stands for. We hear regularly from this body and even from the members of the community that 35% of Eatonville residents own their own homes. That stat is clearly cited as a problem and a community concern. I agree that it's a problem, but if we agree on that, then we have to ask ourselves, how does adding duplex units in a single family residence solve that problem? It doesn't. Duplexes are rental vehicles. They create landlords and tenants. This ordinance does not produce a single new homeowner in Eatonville. It cannot by its very nature. If homeownership is the goal, this is the wrong tool to do it. This council should also acknowledge that what we're really looking at tonight is this ordinance already came before you and it died. And there was no new community involvement or input or revised analysis or explanation of what changed or why it deserved a second look at all. And what is the supporting analysis for this permit change to the land development code? A single sentence from P&Z with really not much else that they recommended. No independent data, just that it was recommended. Now, the P&Z board is community volunteers. Their recommendation deserves respect, but it's not a substitute for those independent evaluations and impact analysis and studies. So what was shown on there, it does tell us the cost to everyone, something about zero. I don't really know, but conspicuously it never asks who profits from this. And that is a question we should be asking ourselves. Also, the land requirement for this particular thing is like 11,000 square feet of some sort, and the standard R2 lot size is about half that. So this requirement duly benefits very few people. It's looking at simply a community that wants to do more, and only a few people have such size lots available to them to develop and profit. So I want to note that at the very same meeting here tonight, you guys are also going to be looking to adopt a tourism master plan or shoot it down, which it seems like you guys probably should. But that master plan is built a little bit on the identity of Eatonville as a historic town. Yes, that was.
That's right.
Oh, but my other thing is, right now, it's just for this item,
That's
just for this item.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
But that tourism master plan is talking about our identity as a historic community, an owner-occupied community. And the research is clear that renters have less stake in local governance, less civic engagement, and less investment in the neighborhoods that they live in. So you cannot build tourism identity with one hand and introduce an investor-driven rental developments into our residential neighborhoods with the other. These two things are in direct conflict with each other. So Which one do we want? Do we want tourism or do we want more renters? Do not resolve the 35% issue that we currently have. So tonight's only a first reading. I get that. There will be, I guess, a second. I think that's the procedure. But I'm asking this council to start thinking carefully now about what the ordinance actually does and who it actually serves. If the genuine concern is housing, we truly want to address that 35%, then let's have that conversation properly. Let's look at staff for a real analysis. Let's engage the community. Let's study policies that actually build home ownership. This town deserves solutions that serve everyone, not ordinances that serve a few.
Thank you. I apologize for that. Sorry. Are there any other speakers on this item?
I'm not even gonna pull out my. Say that I was bothered by the feeling that one person could come up with a concern. And then a vote that was unanimous starts to break down the switch all up and down the line. He's talking about needs, and that's okay. Every citizen, I talk about what I need. We all talk about what we need. But in reviewing the article from 20 years ago called "Welcome to Eatonville," the same things were being said about the same people. And the question is, are we becoming focused for one person or for any person or any collective? Or are we serving the people? As of right now, it's like the people are being served, but unfortunately, we are the meal. We're on the menu, and we don't want to be on the menu. So I'm just concerned about one concern. Everybody starts to do it. Common sense would say to any person, there's some undue influence here that has nothing to do with the rest of the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this item? All right, there being none, we're now closing it for public comment. I'm going to ask Ms. Mary. I should speak first. I apologize. So there was a question in regards to what was stated before about new information.
I have no information to present. I have been asked to
Nothing different.
do anything. No.
All right. So that answers the question that there is no new information presented. It is now open for, we've heard the preamble. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded. And I simply want to make my final comment because I totally agree. I totally agree that this is not for the betterment of this community. It is not going to serve, and we even talked about just putting the limitations so that it could be, if there was some damage to the property, then we can just make those adjustments. But adding the ability to build duplexes in this instance is going to allow it to go for anyone to build duplexes. And I'm totally against that. And I still am. I've said it before, and I still am. So with that being said, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor. You had to.
No,
I'm sorry.
I was trying to say something before you did, but I was supposed, was no new information brought up for this item? That's what I assumed we was doing. I thought something new came up. Okay, you said nothing came up, so. Thank you.
Councilwoman.
Yes, since the public have made a couple comments concerning the impact fees. Where are we on impact fees? And if we were assessing impact fees and would it apply to this item, what are we looking at? What does that look like?
So, Councilwoman, if I'm giving you an honest answer, I'm still working on trying to find that information of where the impact study has been being worked on. I've been talking with staff, so we're working to try to get all that stuff in. So I cannot give you, I'm not gonna make a number for you right now, unless Ms. Salamari know. I'm not gonna make a number of what impact they could bring in dollar wise. I can't do that right now.
But I mean, I'm trying to reason with this, and I'm not faulting you per se. I'm just saying, we've been dealing with this impact fee thing for over a year. I just don't understand what is taking so long to get this done.
So what the process should be, we should have had the study done, which Ms. Gibson said,
It's about water
the water sewer.
The other one is done.
The other one is done. The other one, I will tell you personally, I know that we've been collecting that money because I've been involved with ensuring that we just had a house. I'll just tell you this. We had a house that was recently built and we collected $21,000 in impact fees on one house.
That's
And it was 2,200 square feet. So that has been happening on that aspect. But there is another side to it, which is the water and the wastewater. So we have to go through a process, and even if it was passed, and Attorney Shepherd can jump in on that. If you would pass and go through the second reading, we still have to wait 90 days after that. So we're in full motion trying to get through that. Attorney Shepherd and I have had this conversation, Ms. Salamari, Finance, Ms. Monday's had this conversation with me. We're trying to get a grip on where we at with that.
The answer to your question directly, which is, would this impact these properties? And the answer is, unless they tried to build something new, no. Unless they tried to expand something substantial, no. So even if we have impact fees today, it's not like, oh, well, we send everybody who's a property owner a bill. That's not how it is. But what it would stop is somebody who's coming in to put something new from doing so without paying their proportionate share, fair share of impacts on the water system. The water system that, as you know, well know, Ms. Monday is doing her best to upgrade with grants and other things. And the lack of having these fees now is incredibly significant. It's one of the reasons that I have been raising this issue repeatedly and for years. Someone asked about a moratorium, and it's a great idea, except there's one problem in Florida right now, and it's called SB 180, which prohibits us from doing any moratoriums until 2027. And so we had a moratorium that was valid. We extended it out to a year, which is about the maximum you want to go. This all should have and could have happened in that time frame. It did not. But it needs to get the giddy up on it yesterday, because as Mr. Daniels pointed out, if we were adopting it today, it wouldn't be in effect for 90 days. We are meeting with hundreds of folks and their lawyers tomorrow. Is that right?
That's right.
So there isn't enough speed that you can put on this. And yes, from a legal standpoint, it would make sense to not do anything that's going to give somebody the opportunity to build before you have a water and sewer impact fee. Those are facts. It's not opinion.
Thank you.
I was not expecting this. But, you know, we're gonna follow procedures. Okay,
Are you
go
done?
ahead.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
I have to say nay.
Nay. So 3 nays, 2 ayes.
Councilwoman Randolph, second.
Yeah,
do roll call?
Second.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to
do a roll call?
So Councilman Max asked for a roll call.
Do a roll call?
Councilman Matt,
Yes, aye.
Councilwoman Jordan,
Aye.
Councilwoman Randolph.
No.
And Vice Mayor Washington.
Nay.
And Mayor Carter.
Nay. All right, so first reading is not approved.
So, just so we can have clarity, because this is the second, third time. Attorney Shepherd, if this was to come back up or whatever, what would need to be done, or is there any procedural on this, so we'll know, so we can let it
As was
rest.
established last time.
It's not unlawful, so I can bring it up next time.
That's correct. That's
So that's self-explanatory right there. So
That
if
is
it's
correct.
not unlawful, I can bring it up as many times as I want.
Right,
It's my opinion,
Right, I understand that, Councilman, but I'm trying to get him to give a qualifying answer.
but it's
for all
already
the-
been established the last meeting.
Wait, but
You would have
Attorney
known
Shepherd
that.
is going to speak. Yes, floor.
Councilman Mack is correct, that y'all do not have a procedural rule that would keep you from bringing up a motion to reconsider. I don't even motion consider, just to bring it up again. What generally happens is you have rules of procedure adopted by council that would prohibit another councilman from doing this, or any councilman from bringing up a repeatedly failed motion each and every time there's a meeting and trying to get a different result. But you don't have such rules. You could adopt them, you don't have. In terms of procedure, if it is brought back again or added to agenda again, it would be again back on first reading. So an ordinance, as someone observed, requires 2 readings. This is the first one. The second one is what's called the public hearing. It's advertised in a more robust way. And you set aside a period, just like tonight, it's public period, but it is the final public hearing for passage or failure. Between the first reading and second reading, if there were changes to be suggested, if, for example, the ordinance had gotten through and had further discussion tonight, but there was some decision made, well, we like it, but we want to change this, we want to add that to it, that can be done between first and second reading, as long as it doesn't change the intent of the ordinance, and that's generally interpreted as the title to the ordinance, what you heard the town clerk read. That's the title. So as long as you don't have to change the title and it still effectively conveys what the ordinance does, then you're good to go, even if you make changes between the first reading and the second reading, but it does require 2 readings.
I have a question.
Yes.
If this comes back, well, I'm trying to measure, what will be the time frame to get impact fees in place?
This is the unknown thing for me. I will remind, some of you were here and some of you were not. We were told that the Florida Rural Water Association had done a rate study, and apparently they did, because I know rates increased. And we were told also that that rate study would then be rolled into the impact fee study, which I don't know the status of that, except that it's not complete. I learned that this evening. So I don't know what the status of it is. But just so you have a sense of it, if we were here on first reading, which is the only thing it could be, to adopt an impact fee, just like the ordinance we just defeated, it would have to come back for a second reading. So that's 2 meetings with advertising in between. And from the second meeting, once it's passed, 90 days before those go into effect. Anybody who comes and applies for anything in between does not get charged those fees. That is why it has been critical since day one to get these fees in place, because my biggest fear has been that Hungerford is going to come online, not have to pay it down. That is concerning.
Attorney Shepherd, quick, so the 1-year wait, and you're gonna get on the, I'm not sure what happened with, because I understand it like you understood it, but we'll
Yeah.
figure out what happened.
We've been talking and trying to find documents and all that, so we'll be on with Florida Rural Waste in the morning to find out, but we've been trying to find, and I have yet to avail anything.
Do they even know the amount?
We
So,
said, Gibson?
but in the,
Come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm looking through the emails. It's not finished. It's halfway finished. Like you said, we're gonna phone and call tomorrow to see what is missing. They did start it. The rest was working on it. They did start it, and I think they needed a couple of things from City of Altamont. So I'm going back through my emails and I see where they was missing a couple of things. So I don't know that he'll give it to them, but we can call tomorrow and find out. But I do have here where they asked for a couple of things that they needed.
I have another concern.
wait, can I ask my second
Okay,
question?
sorry. Thank you.
The wait, having a wait period before, so we fix the procedural, so we don't keep coming back and forth. So how do we put that in place?
We're talking about, so if a motion fails, it can't
Right.
be brought back up. That's a council procedure rule. Somebody would have to draft rules, and it could be just on this one thing, or it could be on a series of
Okay.
things. And I want to say y'all had some. I don't remember whether I've seen them, but I thought you had some. But it would definitely be needed to add to them. Probably be a good refresher if you did have rules of what they say, so that you can then vote on as a council to adopt
Alright.
rules that would prohibit continuing to bring up the same thing over and over and over again if it wasn't passed.
All right, thank you. Councilman.
Yeah, my question is it fair to allow the builder to continue not to move on with his project because we don't have things in place? That's my concern right now.
And it is a valid concern. It is a valid concern, and I cannot answer the fairness question, because where I sit, it's just a matter of the law. This is what I'm trying to convey. If a builder comes in to pull permits and otherwise has provided everything that it needs to provide, and that's everything from a single family home builder building a single home to someone building an apartment complex, or let's say a museum, maybe a health center, maybe an early childhood development center, any of those things that they come in and apply for with a permit, they are under the wire, and they are not going to get charged a dime of water impact. That's why this is so critical, because they are at the door knocking right now.
Well, you know, I'm just sorry about that, and I don't really think it's fair. Since we don't have things, and we've had plenty of time to get this, it's not the builder's fault.
No,
And I want to say this, and I'm gonna ask him a question, yes or no. Can I relinquish my vote? Because I don't think it's fair.
what do you mean, the one we just did?
Yes, no,
No, I'm not gonna say that. The rules would be a motion to reconsider. And typically, that is gotta be based on the winning side. We're on the winning side. And so you could make a motion to reconsider the vote. But we're talking about two different things. If there is someone who is applying to do something that is permitted, that is something they can do no matter what. But what this ordinance was about is permitting them to do something additional, which is to build something new. That's what this ordinance is about. Duplexes are already a legal non-conforming use in this portion of Eatonville, and Ms. Salmieri can speak to that. But what that means is they're not permitted under the code, but nobody can make you take them down. But what we can do as a town for legal non-conforming uses is we can keep them from expanding. So if they said, well, we'd like to make it a bigger duplex, can't do that. We'd like to go 2 stories, can't do that. You keep what you have under the legal non-conforming use theory. So if the theory is, I've got a builder ready to come in and do a duplex, they couldn't do that now because the current code doesn't permit it. That's what's stopping them, not impact fees, it's current code. But if you change the current code, they can come right in before we have impact fees to address it.
And so I'll jump on that, Attorney Shepherd. We do have someone else who recently came in and wanted to put duplexes in, and we told them it's not in the code. So that permit would not go forward because it's not conforming. But if you all change it, then it opens the door for them to be able to do it.
Right. So this is not a situation where someone is being held up at the door trying to get a permit. This is where the reason that they can't get a permit is because it's not legal. It only becomes legal if you move this way, and that's all.
but this can be brought back again. Is that what we're saying to them?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not unlawful. That's why it's here now. That's why I brought this up at least 2 times already besides tonight. So it's not anything that's unlawful. And if we want to sit here and continue talking about impact fees, when I didn't sit up here as a council member and all the impact fees that went up under the table that we didn't get, we don't want to sit here and talk about that, do we? I'm not trying to open a can of worms, but you know, you got to look at the whole logistics of everything that's going on. Like, I know people look at it in terms of just helping one person. It's not just, who came up with that notion that it's just helping one person? Like, where are you guys getting this information from? You know, and this is on a public setting right here. We're speaking publicly about it. So who is it benefiting? It can benefit anybody that want to do it, right? It doesn't relate to just one particular person. So we're being biased by even making those comments. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to be very strategic on how we make comments about certain individuals when it comes to whatever a person wants. And at the end of the day, we sit up here and we make decisions. Last time I checked, it's a majority rule, no matter how anybody feels. But I'm gonna make the best educated decision that I'm gonna be able to make for the citizens of Eatonville. Anybody that's in the town of Eatonville, that are citizens, you guys can go about doing the same thing that this particular person want to do. If that's what you say, that's what it is. I don't know. All I know is I brought this back to the table because I think it's a good idea for us to do it. Whether you voted up or down, we did that. The majority of the rules, point blank, period. It doesn't matter. And speaking on that, I have decided to make some other decisions on another item that I got, but I'll deal with that when it comes to me. But you know, let's stop making these notions about it's benefiting certain people and not everybody else. Come on, let's stop that. Like seriously.
All right, so we can move on to the next item.
Oh, I'm sorry. She wants to say something.
So just for some clarity and maybe direction, potentially for me, and we've talked about duplexes in a range of different ways. So tonight's, and there was data and analysis, and there was a staff packet, and there was a complete overall analysis. So that's actually in the public record. A couple of things that have been brought up tonight that I just want clarity on, and maybe that will help too, is the ordinance that's before you is to allow duplexes to exist in R2 where it has an RM zoning land use that would allow it. When we first brought this, I identified 29 duplexes that exist in the town. So the ordinance that's before you tonight would allow duplexes to occur, new construction, as well as the 29 that exist. You also have the option, if you wanted, is a non-conforming and allow duplexes to rebuild that exist today, the 29 that are over here. Another option that you could do is revise your permitted use table to allow duplexes that were constructed. Your earliest duplex that is constructed today is 1999 from the research. So you could allow duplexes to be permitted that have been constructed no later than 1999 as permitted. And then you would preserve the rights to the 29 that exist in the town without giving any additional rights to any other land. But all of the ones that have been, that I think I presented, I can even show you the list tonight. We have that PowerPoint if you'd like to see it again. But there's 29 of them that were documented through the property appraiser that have been in place from 1948, 1953 to 1999. So that was the original, but the direction that I had, maybe it was me not presenting the options correctly, but that was to allow anybody, and the 11,000 square feet would require multiple parcels to be owned prior to getting that, so that it does not conflict with the land use that is assigned to it. That's how those numbers were done. There was data and analysis that was done to inform that. So those are just the things, because I think there's 3 different choices that I don't know how the council really wants. One is you can change your non-conforming, which would mean if there was a fire or if there was destruction, there'd be a certain percentage that could be rebuilt. The other is you can allow duplexes. That's the ordinance that you have tonight. Allow duplexes to occur in any area that has a residential medium land use. It doesn't violate your comp plan. And then the third could be you would identify in the permitted land use, permitted zoning, that any duplex that was constructed, is it prior to 1999 would be permitted. So those are the 3. Maybe I have not done that a great of a job explaining that.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And if I can, because it's my item, I'm speaking on this more. I also overheard, someone get up on this podium and, you know, stated that, about being homeowners. Of course, everybody want to be a homeowner, but this culture, I've been here all my life. You understand me? I understand the culture of Eatonville, and everybody's not privileged to own a home. You know what I'm saying? They probably don't meet the qualifications or whatever. They can't rent a home. They can't rent a space, right? Which would put them in the equation of doing something to this magnitude if that's something that they want to do. And then it's going to push people out that can't qualify to buy homes. But if they don't qualify to buy homes and we do have these duplexes, they can rent it.
Yes, you can
Okay.
actually rent one side and live in the other side and then.
Correct. How we look at it, right? So I say that to say this right here. Understanding the culture of Eatonville and the heritage of Eatonville is important. And I understand it because I've been here all my life. And I understand the importance of wanting to be a homeowner who don't want to be a homeowner, right? But you got people that aren't in the situation that, you know, they should be in. And some people probably don't want to be a homeowner because of all the things that come along with being a homeowner also. But let's be careful on how we sit here and voice our opinions because everybody got an opinion, right? At the end of the day. And anybody that's running for office that's gonna be perhaps sitting up here, you're gonna be making a lot of tough decisions. I can tell you that right now. And with that being said, I just, don't like the idea that people say that people should be looking for ownership versus rent. You know what I'm saying? That's the entitlement on how they want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? If they want to be a renter all their life, let them be a renter all their lives. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think we should be standing in the way of people trying to do something that's going to be sustainable for the community also. And I'm done with it.
I would like to say this ordinance is very complicated. There's just so much that's involved in this one ordinance.
Well, there's
In other words,
3 things that are involved in the
Yeah,
ordinance.
yeah, I know. The single family homes, the land use and all of this, duplexes and 11,000 square feet and all of this, and it's just so complex. And I think that's one of the problems that up here is been hard to navigate exactly, because if you like this one, but this one over here you don't really like. So if you're gonna vote for one of them, you're gonna have to vote for all of them, even though you may not like the other two. So I'm just kind of dealing with that portion. So I still think that, and I am gonna ask for a motion to reconsider my vote.
So can I get a clarification? And I did hear you.
Yes.
So I remember that one of the issues that were brought up is that when they try to refinance, right, that would be an issue. And if something happened to the home, they wouldn't be able to rebuild unless or if our percentage was low, or like the amount.
If it's considered a non-conforming in any way, it potentially has an issue for refinancing. We don't handle refinancing, so I'm not an expert at that.
Right.
That's just been an issue that we've heard in the community on.
Because, and that was what I was alluding to earlier, if it's already there, those duplexes that are already there, if something should happen, then I think they should be able to rebuild. Or definitely get it fixed, So that is what I was saying earlier. But but making it available for any new construction that's not already there, that is what I'm against. That's gonna allow anyone to come in. But for those that are already in existence, especially the old ones, that might need to be renovated or whatever, then I'm okay with what's already here.
So for clarification, there's 2 in your packet and in the ordinance. There are 2 edits and strike throughs. One is to underline. So the tables that you see, that's already existing in the code. It's only the underline. So the underlined portion is if you were permitting duplexes by right, you would include the 100-foot minimum lot width, 11,000 minimum lot area. So that goes with a permitted by right because there's no standards for duplexes in your code. If you have the desire to only permit by existing duplexes, so only allow what is existing. You would not modify that section. You would take chapter 65 and what's underlined as P, which is the dwelling two family duplex, is the only item. You could put a footnote there and say only permitted with construction 1999 and later. But that's not in this ordinance. You would have to amend a motion to add that.
All the duplexes from 1999 back,
Would be permitted by right and
like to rebuild.
correct. But you would not move forward.
The existing square footage.
Oh, no, yeah,
Yes, right?
that would be preserved.
Yes.
What you, if you were amending that, just so that you're clear, the motion would only be to chapter 65, table 65-1C, permitted two family duplex with the following exception. And then that's how you would modify it.
I'm
Or
okay with the
keep it the way it is.
modification for existing
That would preserve all of the existing duplexes.
and
Now
allow
on
for the
29
refinancing and all of that. I just,
Yes. And then
it's,
that would allow rebuild. You don't have to worry about non-conforming. They're considered permitted by right. And I believe I've got the slide too that can be pulled up, but that would be that could be how it would be addressed.
because that would allow, should one half of a duplex, get damaged, still the other half is still there, that can just really.
And as long as they meet the setback requirements in that zoning district, they're fine.
I'm okay with the modification so that people's lives can go on. It's just the new builds is what I'm against.
If that is the direction or the consensus, Ms. Alvieri can come back and just with our assistance, redrafting ordinance that comes back going. The bigger issue that goes forward with this version of the ordinance is allowing a building of new duplexes. That was my understanding. I don't have a dog in the fight. It's my understanding that is the point of friction. Is the idea is to preserve what is already there and considered quote legal but non-conforming. There's a workaround that still gets you where you want to go, but without committing new construction. And the new construction is where the impact fees become an issue.
Right. Yeah, but you don't have it anyway.
Well, it depends on how fast we can get going.
So where are we in terms of the approval of the first reading?
Well, if on this one, you already voted it down. Ms. Randolph has indicated, but it hasn't been seconded yet, that she wants to reconsider that vote. But if that changes, or if there's no second, but there's direction to staff Salmieri to go back and recast the ordinance as she suggested, where between 1999 and present, the ones that are currently existing duplexes are considered legal, lawful, permitted uses, but there will be nothing further because of, I don't know, whatever that we come up with to solve that problem. And you, made all the existing non-conforming uses of duplex conforming, which takes away the issue about refinance and build back and all that stuff, because it's just like anybody else's house, they can build it back and they can refinance without having some cloud of it. But that's not in this ordinance. That would have to be redone.
So it's like 1999 or 1941, because you said the first one was 1941, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be 1941 till
It'd probably be easier to do 1999 and earlier.
and earlier, okay, so you're going backwards then, okay.
Yes.
That's why I just want to make sure the
It
language is right.
It preserves the integrity of every duplex, and if that was the decision makers,
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Or Councilwoman Randolph?
Yeah, because I see she made a suggestion. I'm like, I appreciate it, Tara. Thanks for the.
Thank you, because I think that's the issue, is the clarification of it. And I think
A
that's.
lot of people don't get, but they're just making their, own notion on how they wanna, vote.
So
which is okay too.
Councilwoman, what is your question?
I want a motion to reconsider my vote.
All right, so there's a motion,
From nay to yay.
but it's not a motion.
So
She
she wanna
discussed
take,
it.
she wanna rescind?
Wait, please, let me,
At
She
the same
just does
meeting,
it,
when
right?
to consider, it would require a second, and then you could cast a revote. But it's not on any new ordinance, it's on what's on the table today. If the consensus is you want a new ordinance along what we just discussed, then you could have a motion to reconsider, but if it gets passed, then there's nothing for her to do.
Yeah.
We're done.
so I guess the question is, are you wanting to rescind your motion on an ordinance that's gonna allow complete rebuild regardless, or
And new, that's the
and
critical
new,
part.
or were you interested in the modifications and allowing those that already exist?
So when we voted, which one did we vote on? That's what
The one that
The
allowed new.
Allow new.
Right.
Yes, that's, yes.
Second.
So if you want to allow new, that's what's on the table. If you just want to make legal what is otherwise legal but non-conforming, that's something we'd have to go back and draft.
Could you give her that later?
All right, so
Or somebody can second it?
a rescension is a rescension. So there is a motion on the floor for Councilwoman to reconsider her vote for ordinance 2026-1 first reading.
Second.
Is there a motion?
So moved. She moved it. That's all.
We got it. So it has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Question?
We're not adding amendments.
We're not, what we're reconsidering is what was already taken on what was presented tonight.
Voting what we had.
I support the amendment of everything 1999.
But that's how it, this is how.
Yeah.
So make sure for clarity for everybody. So what Ms. Salamari just presented was to all existing duplexes, will make it conforming. If y'all, she write a new ordinance for that. But if y'all rescinding, y'all going back to the original one from tonight. Everybody got that right?
I mean, they
But
do
we don't have
anything.
to, put it out for ad again, do we?
No, so what Ms. Salamari was just talking about, if you go forth with that ordinance, what she's talking about, you would have to represent it and it'll come back up fresh, so it'll be 2026-2.
Right.
But Councilwoman is trying to rescind it, which means this one will be voted in from tonight, which means new duplexes will be able to.
First reading pass.
First reading pass, it would mean that new duplexes could be built in town.
Right.
But I think she talking about
We're making it too complicated, that's what I think.
the water study, the impact fees.
I think she said-
Talk about that, but she's
said what-
not talking about that
I
at
think
this
she
moment.
said what
She's
she
spoken
meant,
about it,
and
but-
let's vote on it.
So
There's
Councilwoman,
a motion on
I've
the.
already said,
I'm
She said.
we're making this more complicated.
Exactly.
I've already said, yes, it was a motion, it was a second, and we just need to go from there.
Let's vote on it down.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, so it
Now it's
gets
back on the table.
table to be voted on again.
Oh, yeah, we voted on again.
So has now, hey, audience, please hold your comments. Thank you. All right, so is there a motion of the first reading to approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-1?
So moved.
It dies for lack of. I'm lost.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
not.
continue with the
I'm
meeting.
not.
Yes, please,
I'm not.
continue with the meeting. Continue with the meeting. Let's go. What's the next item? Let's, what we doing with item what?
Alright.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna be in y'all.
Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda? It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is this for the consent agenda? Is there a second?
What are we talking about? Something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then,
That's just for the minutes. That's the only thing on here, is just the minutes.
So Roman number 6. So we're on number 6 right now. Roman number 6.
it has been moved for
Second.
approval of this consent agenda.
Second,
It's,
properly second, so we need.
oh, okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Next item is council decisions, approval of resolution 2026-9, naming the town of Eatonville CRA as the subrecipient for both HUD grants.
Well, I noticed something that I brought up and what I want to go in the direction of doing, and I know I had some time to really think about it, and then I do consider a lot what my citizens recommend, so I'm a big advocate of that, not saying that they're gonna completely always make my decision for me, but I concur with them, and I just want to remove this item altogether. I don't even want to vote it up or down, to be honest, but I know we got to, but I definitely don't want to table it. I want it to just go away, but if you do put a motion on the floor, it's a hard no for me right now.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and, did I already?
You've already
Moved and
put a
seconded.
motion on the
It's
floor.
been moved and seconded. All in favor of the approval of resolution 2026-9, signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay.
Hey,
Nay.
Nay.
So did you do a roll call?
Yes. Councilman Mack,
no,
Councilwoman Jordan,
No,
Councilwoman Randolph.
No.
Vice Mayor Washington.
Nay. All right, the next item is approval of resolution 2026-1, adopting a tourism master plan. Is there a motion?
So,
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council.
okay, I know it's something that we had a deep discussion about doing a workshop. I know the significance of it, in terms of the TBT funding that we'll perhaps get. I know we said we'll do a study on it, and I do want to consider what our CAO said in terms of like just sitting at the table with people that are familiar with things of this magnitude. So I think we need to probably table this item for the meantime, while we can sit down and have some deep discussion on how we can move forward with doing things that's gonna be for the betterment of the community also. And also, like I stated before, that's why I tell people to, be present during these council meetings, because your voice matters, because I'm your voice. So whatever, decision I make is off the basis of, the language and, consideration that I'm getting from a lot of my citizens, because I work for the people. I don't work for anybody up here. Essentially I do, but I serve the people, and I want to consider myself a leader and a servant and always doing the right thing. I know a lot of times you feel like you're doing the right thing, but you're doing the wrong thing. So I definitely want to table this item and probably sit down and have some more discussion about this particular item before moving forward, making any decision. So that's my thoughts on that.
All right, so we're in the middle of a motion. So does anyone else feel like they want to table it? And we can rescind the motion or we move forward with the motion. Anybody? Do we move forward with the motion?
I'm gonna take
You
it.
move forward. Like if you don't,
So I'm gonna go ahead and move.
if you don't table it, I'm gonna vote it down. I'm just letting you know that now. It's a
Okay.
hard no for me.
All right.
But if you want to table it, I think that'll make a lot more sense. Because if you don't want to table it, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away,
So
according to me.
we'll just,
make a motion. to
I can't make decisions for
So if
people.
we're
I'm only one vote.
if we're gonna make the motion to table, this is not the first time this has come before us anyway. If we just go through the motion, you could vote nay. I mean, because this is not the first time, I don't think. And we're in the middle of a motion. All right, so it has been moved and seconded. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna go with the motion.
But did you say you want to table something?
I do.
Do anybody else want to table, or do anybody else want to move
All
forward?
right, so does
We
anyone
can't
else?
let you force our hand to do what you want to do.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just being honest with you.
Councilman.
Being
Councilman,
honest with
it
you.
could have gone any way.
But it doesn't
Is
matter,
there,
but we're gonna,
does anyone want to rescind their second?
is that?
I'm saying rescind your second.
Rescind my motion. I rescind my motion.
Rescind the second.
I rescind my second. If I second, I rescind my
Right.
second. Who moved it?
Matt,
I moved it, so I rescind my motion.
Randolph, second.
And Miss Councilman Randolph, do you rescind your second?
I second it.
This is,
Oh, okay, second, yeah, all right.
She's asking.
You gotta read.
Oh, I want to say my second.
Yes.
Wow, what's going on?
If we want to take it, but if you want to vote it up or down, we can continue going on.
I will rescind.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay, that's fine.
the full motion has been rescinded. Is there a motion now to table?
Slow.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. All right. Item has been extended. Table. See y'all.
I don't know tonight. So there's a, as we all see tonight, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of things that have not been concluded that we really got to get a grasp on. And I'm asking everybody. I met with department heads and I think for almost 3 hours today. I think it was 3 hours today. We need to come up with a bona fide task list of things that we need to work on, and we need to prioritize those task lists and work on those. We got to stop all the decisive acts that's going on where we're not collaborating. People are just all over the place. So I'm asking everyone, council, staff, and all that, we can all just work together. Something for I want you all to consider, business tax license. I have talked to the CRA. I think I've talked to a number of you all as well, that we have all these festivals and different things that's coming in, and we're not collecting business tax from these people. To me, if it's Zora, whoever, if someone is coming to do business in the town, they need to pay a business tax. That's $100 that we can be using to offset something. So I want y'all to start considering that. Another thing I've been talking with staff about is, I know we just passed the solid waste, and don't y'all shoot me, but I'm kind of disturbed with it. I mean, the amount of money we're spending out about $50,000 a month for garbage. I would love for you all to allow me to look at, and it may be something I get with Attorney Shepard. I'm not gonna say what I want to do really out loud right now, but I would love to look at getting our own trash company, our own truck. And I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that we would not be spending $600,000 a year on a truck and manpower. And then that's money that we can put back towards our budget. It'll offset so many things. But it's things like this that we got to continue to work on. Another thing I want you all to consider is we having all these events coming up. I'm going to bring forth next council meeting where an employee has to be at any event that's going on that's happening on town property. And we got to pass that cost on to whoever the person is that's here. We have to do that, y'all. We have to protect, because no one's going to take care of our investment but us. But if we keep letting people come and do things and for $250, $300, we're going to continue to be run amok. We're going to continue to be not be able to progress and be able to show a difference. Also, we need to look at updating fees. I don't think a lot of our fees have been updated, and I think we're paying more in third-party costs compared to the fee that we collect with. So that's automatically putting us in the negative. Midterm evaluations, all department heads know I'm mandating by the end of March, the last day of March, all directors are going to do a midterm evaluation on all employees, and that's for them to finish out the year. That has to be done. Events, we're running a lot now on last minute events. Events need to be at least 90 days out. So anything right now we should be discussing really should be the month of June and further. You know, we should be already planning Founders Day and all that. I think that's just going to help us. Documentation, let's rely on experts and all that. I know a lot of people say, oh, we can't do this and all that. And I know people in the last 30 days been upset with me about things, but if the document is there to give somebody the authority to do something or to move forward on something, that's what we're doing. I'm not taking what someone told me to do. I have to see a document, or somebody can produce a document, because that can keep us out of a lot of lawsuits. I have talked with the planner about zoning overlays and some of our codes that we need to update. That's going to be a task that's coming up, but a lot of those things, as we've been talking about, the Huntsville property and other properties, those are things that we have to correct. We have to start correcting in-house. The audit is in progress. I talked to the auditor today with Ms. Gibson. The plan is right now, if we can continue to give everything that's needed, we will have an audit complete by the end of March, first week of April. which means budget time this year is gonna start in the month of April for 2026 going into 2027, because we just gotta get better. To let y'all know how serious we are, I'm already looking at, I done took an average of last 3 years' budgets to actuals. Because things like that, we have to start evaluating right now. We can't wait for the state legislator or someone else to do something. We gotta take action ourselves. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Okay, well, sometimes less is more. I obviously will say that over the next 5 years, this would probably, other than the founding of the town in 1987, there will probably be not another more 5 years in the next 5 years for this town because of what we have been done for property. How we address it with our codes, how we address it with our fees, how we address it with our planning. And if I could urge anything upon the elected leaders of this town, it is to focus on that issue like a laser beam. There's a lot of things that can distract people in government. It doesn't mean they're not important. But if this town is to survive, it needs to focus on that property, how it will develop, and how it will become our source of sustainment in order to make it through. There are zero guarantees about property tax reform, which we've discussed, and how that's going to end up, do not know. But I can tell you that any of the proposals that are out there now would be extraordinarily damaging to the town. So we'll just see. The good news on property tax reform is that at the moment, the Senate does not have a concurring bill to, or a corresponding bill to the House bill. And unless there's two bills, they can't get together and make a decision. And so we may escape. But you cannot take that to the bank. Someone said earlier, we can't depend on what anybody else needs to do. We have to depend on ourselves and act like we're the only thing that we can do to protect ourselves. And so I urge you as a lawyer, but somebody who is very passionate about this town, to do not forget that focus. The last thing I will tell you is that as we all were, man, y'all got a heck of a city clerk, town clerk. I've never seen a stronger human.
All right, so I'll be quick. Keep the family of Miss King and her family in your prayers. Also keep the family of Alice Grant in your prayers. You would know her from PEC. PEC. And I know, and this is to the CAO, and I know that there are other things that you just stated that you wanted, but I too believe that, and I want to make certain that the water sewer impact fees, they've just got to be, top priority. Everyone have a good evening. If my laughter offended you, I apologize. I do it in church all the time, so I'm bad at it, but drive safely, and that's my report. Vice
You need to go to the office.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I just want to say, I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. The late Reverend Jesse Jackson. He passed earlier today. And one thing I remember him saying is, our flag is red, white, and blue, but our nation is brown, yellow, red, black, white, all the colors. So we are all in the nation as one. And that was the Rainbow Coalition that he was explaining. So for the late Jackson family, so when I there, my condolences. And Miss King, she did a wonderful eulogy on her son. I mean, that really touched me when I got the news, because when I was qualifying, Mary had a conversation about her son. And she said, Theo, I got my son home from Texas. And that's the last time we talked about it. Then when I came in weeks later, talking to Mr. Daniels, he nonchalant, like sadness, like, Miss King lost her son. I'm like, what? So I got chill bumps, sat down, and I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. Because we just talked about this kid. I just couldn't believe it. So that's how life is. I mean, one minute we here, the next minute we go. But I say, just be safe and don't take things for granted. I mean, like I said, this world is something else, but just don't take things for granted. Respect people. I respect you, but like I said, I can get, I tell people I referee and I tell people I just got this on, so don't take this. Don't be too serious about this here, coaches. So I'm gonna give you respect, give me respect. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman
Thank you very much.
Randolph.
Yeah, I have just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to give my acknowledgements to Mrs. King and also her son, and also my prayers, and also to the Jackson family. One of my questions that I have here, and Mr. Shepherd, I'm so glad that you brought that out about the focus that we need to be looking at in the future. And I'd like to just add a little note for that, and that is, it's very important to cut waste, unnecessary spending. We may be fortunate to have a lot of things that we've been accustomed to for many of years, but it may have to come down to, we may have to do without some things for a while, because we don't know what the outcome of our financial stability is going to be stable for the next few years. And I do agree. We do have the biggest advantage to the hunger for property to be really something that we going to have to rely upon. But that's not the only thing. That's just not the property itself. It's just everything overall in town. Also, I have a question. A little over a month ago, the town council had approved a resolution or the developer consultant contract. I haven't heard anything about that, and it just seems like it's just getting pushed back and back. I haven't heard anything. Where are we going with that? What is the status? Because if it's going to happen or not happen, the council already ratified this in a meeting. So we haven't moved past a developer consultant. Can someone explain to me what is going on with this?
I was given the contract to review. You guys haven't gotten a chance to see it. I don't even know if Mr. Daniels has seen it yet, but I did a memo about the contract. You will be able to see it when you check your email. All of you got a copy of it this evening. And just, I would strongly suggest that we have the mayor and or Mr. Daniels, with or without me, that's up to them, meet with the developer and see if some of the language in the contract can be worked through. I don't want to make it bigger than it is. And so I'll give you an example of the kinds of things that are problematic in the language, just so you understand. So what the consultant does is he advises and he provides you with information about what might work on the property and what makes sense, and how you can develop it over time. But this is the language of the contract that causes concern, among others. It says the special advisor, which is what the consultant is calling himself, will make every attempt to ensure the accuracy and reliability of the information provided to the town of Eatonville and the Eatonville CRA. So far, so good. However, the information is provided as is without warranty of any kind. The special advisor does not accept any responsibility or liability for the accuracy, content, completeness, legality, or reliability of the information contained in any reports, literature, documentation, or oral representation, which means you might as well ask the guy on the street.
Exactly.
And so it does not mean, I believe that this was just sort of a standard contract they sent over here without really kind of fly specking it the way you all asked me to. But we're not buying anything if that's really the representation. We want to be able to not only have a consultant with all the background of Mr. Lawrence, but we want to be able to rely on his information without him being able to later, which I'm not saying at all he would, but to be able to hold up a piece of paper and say, well, I was dead wrong. None of my information was accurate. All of my calculations were incorrect, but sorry. And so that language needs to be tightened up. And that's just one. There's other examples, but that's the issue. The contract itself, or the idea of a consultant, I don't have a vote in the matter, but I think it's a wise move. But I think the contract needs to have some substance to it. to make it worth going forward with.
Okay, so what needs to happen with that? Does it
Well,
need to go back to?
Well, here's what I'm suggesting. I don't have a vote. But my suggestion is for the mayor with your authority, and maybe Mr. Daniels to go back and meet with Mr. Lawrence. I'm happy to meet if they want with you, because the memo gives you sort of an outline of the problem areas. And see if, and perhaps the answer is, he just calls me up and says, hey, what do you want to change? Change it, send it to me. Which I am happy to do, but I had a PDF. I would have edited it if I had a Word document, but PDFs are a little bit trickier in that regard. So, and I can do that too, but I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I'm definitely not trying to, and Lauren, I've read his credentials. They are stellar. But the contract itself, I wouldn't have my grandmother, mothers, daughters, sons, or anybody sign it because it promises nothing. That's the issue.
So Councilwoman, if I just jump in, and I'm trying to make sure we bring conclusion and stuff, so it don't be lingering. With y'all recommendation, I would love to get on the phone with Mr. Lawrence and Attorney Shepherd, because then if we agree upon the language, I can then come back to, well, Attorney Shepherd, you have to help me through this. We can go ahead and sign it then if it's legal signing, or if y'all want to say if Attorney Shepherd signs, all saying it's legally sound, we can go ahead and move forward with that agreement, because y'all seen something totally different.
Yeah, the monetary part y'all have already approved, so it's really just, and I've already passed on it, the legality of the monetary part. Which I think you've seen about that one. But the contents of the contract itself are the problem. They are fixes that I suspect that Mr. Lawrence will agree to once he understands the perspective that we bring. But that's really, and if I would suggest to you that if I can get to the point where I think it provides you value, where you're getting something that has some teeth to it, then I would say you can go ahead and have the mayor sign it and we can move on. But if you prefer to bring it back to you and take another look, that's okay too. I don't have a concern about that.
So the mayor's not, the mind is not in her head that she's okay, so if the rest of the council is good with that.
Once I see the email and see what it all represents, then I'll be able to make my decision.
Yeah, it's a very short memo, a little over, just.
I just looked at it, so it's language, if the language is agreed upon, then we can go ahead, then we don't have to worry about waiting another 2 or 3 weeks, we can move the horse.
Okay, all right, my last question is, you're meeting with Dr. Phillips, and what is the meeting about?
So that just came apart on yesterday, today. Their planner wants to meet. So their planner wants to meet with our planner. So any meetings that's going on, I'm a part of the meeting. So that's what that meeting is about tomorrow. No decisions are being made. No decision can be made by staff or myself. All this is just gathering. I will go ahead and say this on the record on it. What they're doing right now is they're doing studies. They're doing a lot of studies. They're spending almost $1 million on studies right now. Public safety, transportation, all those different kinds of studies are happening right now, which are all going to be shared with the town of Eatonville. So it's an opportunity for us to gather information. We had a meeting on last Friday with Miss Monday and then it's a meeting tomorrow, or it's a meeting tomorrow with their engineers, talking about the infrastructure and all that. Miss Monday has detailed some things that we need from them when it comes down to water storage. So there may be a difference in the cost, and they understand that cost may be passed on to them for that development. So
yeah, just that my concern is that we're having these meetings, but we're not meeting with our consultant, and I don't really think that's the right way that we should go. If we've already designated someone to work with the council, why we're still meeting? Why can't we say, well, until we can get with our consultant? You know, I just think we're moving far ahead without our consultant.
So Councilwoman, this is all just gathering of data. This is all data driven.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I will say also that there is a 180-day clock that's being ran also.
Okay. I mean,
Wait a sec.
for the planner yourself, their people,
And their plan.
talking about property you can do, right?
Yes, sir.
Nobody else.
Is that it?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Council.
my prayers go out to Town Clerk, Ms. King, and the Jackson family. And I'd like to thank the residents for coming out. And your input is always valuable, and I know that I certainly appreciate it and take everything into consideration that is being said. But everybody else, just have a good night and blessings.
All right, thank you, Councilman.
Yeah, good evening. Listen, I just appreciate everybody coming up here and engaged in town business. I know the significance of just, showing up here. You're just not showing up just because you ain't got nothing to do on a Tuesday night. And I, definitely appreciate everybody on concerns and issues that they may have. And that's what we're up here for as legislators and people that could help move this town forward. But anyways, my condolences to anybody that has suffered in the loss, especially Miss Alice Grant, Scoop Banks, which is the son of my clerk, and I can't reiterate how great she was with doing the eulogy of her son. Like I said, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. She had the entire church in tears, and for good reasons. You know what I'm saying? So she did a great job with raising that kid, and also put him away. So I know he's down smiling on it right now. And I'm also Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He was such an impact to our country, in the world. You know what I'm saying? Running for president twice, not winning, but just the significance of him just being able to be a person of color to have the opportunity to run. So it's always going to be a different look when you look at things like that. So I encourage anybody that want to do anything in this world and in this life, man, to move forward with doing it and never doubting yourself. And looking forward to the Drove entertainment concert that's going to be taking place on this Saturday, I believe. I don't know the exact time. So if anybody's not doing anything on Saturday, come out and support that young man. He really put that thing together. And the impact fees. I know we've been dealing with the sewer water issue with coming up with some kind of concept on what direction we're gonna go in. And I know we had some issues tonight where I don't want to approve this because we don't have it in place. And that's a very valid question. And that question goes to you, CEO, because I hold you accountable for everything that I expect you to do. And I think we need to move forward with doing this sooner than later. And I don't want to come to the next meeting saying that we don't have anything in place. We need to move this thing along. And it's always we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this. We gotta make for this to get no. We need some dirt turned over there across the street. Like seriously, that's going to be sustainable for this community and make sure that we're successful moving forward, not just for us, but for our kids. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we're being very attentive in doing so. And then also this trash down here, and this more of a public work situation. Listen, I know we've had conversation about the debris and mattresses and things of that nature just sitting as an eyesore. If you go to any other community, Maitland or Winter Park or any other community, you're not going to see that. And then when we speak about it and it still doesn't get done, that's what you call accountability, And I'm not saying here trying to put nobody up on the table or anything, but if I tell my kids to go clean the room and I go in there and the room is not clean, it's consequences you're going to have to deal with. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Not that we're gonna sit here and just keep beating you upside the head and making it hard for you, but everybody got a job to do. Everybody got a job to do. All right. So I expect that.
Are you talking about
I'm speaking this in general. Like I don't want anybody to get sensitive about it either, just in general. You know what I'm saying? We spoke about this issue last time, am I right or wrong? About this trash down here on the other end, because last time I spoke about it.
by Zaxby's, right? So
About that.
so Orange County has been contacted, Councilman.
I know, but last time I spoke about it, and Ms. Monday, I appreciate you for having that done. Like, we don't have to sit here and just wait on even though it's, is it unincorporated Orange County or is it Eatonville?
It's owned by Orange County.
Well, I wasn't told that last time because I'm trying to, I felt like I knew the geographics of Eatonville. Because I was told that was Eatonville.
It's a private driveway that's owned by,
is it like?
That area right there, that road was, that's the area, right? So last time, Orange County had to come in, Eatonville had to go in. There was an encampment back there and all that, so that's why we have to notify them. They're responsible for cutting. Now, from your statement, you're saying that we should go down and handle it. I mean, we're gonna use our taxpayer dollars to go into.
No, I'm not saying that because it was handled last time, because I didn't know the exact geographics of that. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of other people that live in Eatonville don't know the entire geographics of Eatonville. I can promise you that. Cause people think that unincorporated Eatonville is Eatonville, and it's not. And I have to educate them, no, that's Carolina, man, that's not even Carolina, this is unincorporated Orange County. If you go walk across the street, you're in Eatonville now. But you know, the little small tedious things. But neither here nor there, man, make it get done. Whether we have to make a phone call to Orange County, make it happen. Okay, but also I want to speak about the reimbursement for the citizens for the water rate. You know, I know we've been tackling and dealing with this for some time now. And then I know we got one citizen that is still, you know, having an issue with her sprinkler system in her yard, you know, which is something that we've been dealing with for some time now. And I'm pretty sure she's already had a conversation with staff in terms of getting this done. And it's yet to be done yet. See, that's the thing that I say. I've been on my job 26 years. All right. My regular job, 26 years. And we drop the ball sometimes. But at the end of the day, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm telling you, they gonna find somebody else that can do it. I'm just being as frank as possible without trying to be, you know, insensitive about it either. You know what I'm saying? We got a job to do, okay? So we can tackle that and make sure that we're addressing that issue. I definitely appreciate it. And this is something that I also spoke about too. First time I got in office, you know what I'm saying? I've been sitting here for about 10 years now. I say, you know what, man, we need to, you know, venture off and probably get our own trash venue. You know what I'm saying? We can do our, cause you know, you got the city of Orlando do it. There's a lot of cities that do it. Well, we can't do it because we're gonna save $600,000, which is a lot of money when we're doing these contracts, right? So we gotta make sure that we're, you know, lining up with doing things that's gonna be good by even doing budget time, you know what I'm saying? Putting in the capital improvement. You know what I'm saying? I spoke about that all the time. Like capital improvement is there for a reason. You can potentially have something in store 5 years down the road by putting money into that capital improvement to be able to suit ourselves with having our own trash venue. Well, we ain't got to sit here and rely on people that are not going to do the job that we paid them to do, you know? And then we can hold our own selves liable because we're actually doing it, right? So anyways, I think that's a great idea, Mr. Daniels. And also, do we have any open positions for the town? Like what positions are open? You ain't got to tell me right now. You can probably email it, whatever. And also boards. Positions as far as employment and boards that are open. Because these are important things that I think the citizens definitely need to know. And we need to make sure that we're making an announcement. And that's something that I want the clerk to be able to make an announcement with every council meeting. Hey, we got these boards, because a lot of people don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna get fair, right? So I think we need to make sure that we're, you know, paving that way to make sure that we're letting people know about these things. The hunger for property. I can't even speak about how the importance of that and piggybacking on what Attorney Shepherd said. Man, we're in a critical time right now, man. I know we don't look at it that way. And then you got people that complain about this and complain about that, but yet to come to council meeting. But you complaining though. I told you, if you want your voice to be heard and you have any issues or concerns, come up here. That's what that panel up there for. I want you to hold me liable. I want you to hold me accountable for everything that I don't do up here that you don't agree with. Because guess what? I'm gonna make sure that we're moving in the direction that we're gonna be successful. Eatonville, I claim it. I claim success for this community. Even when people trying to come in here and change the demographics of how we do things over here. Don't nobody know the culture and heritage more than the people that are, you know, here and that was born here and that grew up here. Everybody that sit up here, at least a couple of them, they know the importance of how we can move forward with making sure that we get what we need and not let other people come in here and dictate on what we need in our community. Can't nobody dictate what we need in our community more than we can, and especially the citizens who are the CEOs. The citizens are the CEOs of the community. Without them, it's not us. You know what I'm saying? It's not us. And and listen, and I have to say this also. The governing body that we sit up here with now, I'm the only one that's not running for office. And this can look very different come March 7th. I'm just being honest. This can look very different come March 7th because I'm the only one that's not running for office right now. Only one. And it can look different. And I hope that the ones that are running for office that could come up here and do the things that's gonna make sure that we're moving in a positive direction and doing things that's like-minded. And I know we have our differences, but we gotta do things that's gonna make Eatonville successful, man. You know what I'm saying? And I know y'all get tired of hearing my mouth, but I'm gonna keep dragging it. I'm gonna keep pushing it on you. I got to, you know? And for the ones that do believe in Eatonville, they will continue sitting up here because you know who gonna put you up here? The people that you work for, the citizens. If they don't believe in you, you're not gonna sit up here. I'm telling you that right now. When you're knocking on doors, because you're gonna knock on my door. And I got 4 votes. I'm just letting you know. It's important. So if you can't sit here and tell me that what you can do for our community, pushing us forward, hey, don't even consider it. Seriously though. But my last thing I'll say, and Attorney Shepherd, you already know what it is. Do we have any lawsuits pending against the town of Eatonville?
Praise God, no.
Okay, if all hearts and minds are clear, that's my report. Y'all have a blessed night.
I'm caught.
I want to thank. Miss Alice Walker. Friend. Think about it. This lady right here, my son went to school at TI, at the Life Center. This lady took him under the wings, helped this kid, reading, all that, those things there. I mean, every day she helped work with my son and him develop better than he is, better than he was when he was growing up. And he was a private school kid, but this lady here, I tell you, I get my heart to it because she was handicapped. He helped her to the car after those sections over EV. It's called an EV program on the PEC. And a lot of kids always participated in that program. And that's something we are missing today, that program again. So I give it out, and people always, the kids are always over there, hunger for it. The Life Academy, school at TIF, Life Center School. I tell you, this lady is she's gonna be missed. She's gonna be missed dearly. And I just told my son, so I know he's gonna be like balling. But thank you. That's all I had to share because in my heart go out to her family, my condolences to the Grant family. So that's all I had. I just want to say that because I forgot her. I don't know how, but thank you. Mayor, thank you, Mayor.
Second encore.
Okay, Mayor Gordon.
Go ahead.
Mayor Gordon. It's late. Mayor Gordon. I'm so sorry. Yes. But I want to thank you for the time being here. I know we have one more being or not. We may have not. We got 2 more, but thank you anyway. Appreciate it. And best of luck to you. That's all I want to say. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, if I don't get a chance to say it again, thank you very much, ma'am.
With that being said, it is 9:16. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Where you going? All in favor? All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Later.